What's going on in my Dragon Nation? It's Christian Dragoon here. Today we're going to be doing a CardFight Vanguard deck profile today of my current Kagero Lawkeeper deck profile. Now I know we're in the type of format or such where we're kind of format where Lawkeeper is quote unquote a little bit obsolete or such, but every now and then I have been messing around with it every now and then, and honestly, Lawkeeper is not as bad as most people would normally claim. Now, he's nowhere as good as most of the newer cards that we're getting these days every now and then, but the ability to where you just catalyze only one card and temporarily bind all your opponent's rear guards, and depending on who's with him or such, you can take some huge advantages over this or such. Lawkeeper actually seems to be a legit, really good, reliable guy to have around every now and then. It's still one of my personal favorite decks. Dragon over the end is definitely, no matter what, my always straight up favorite Kagero deck of all times, like most die-hard Kagero players. But I do have a personal preference and personal respect and love for this guy. For those who do not know, Lawkeeper is the first actual legitimate, good, decent Kagero deck I've ever put together. And despite all the years of good support cards we begin every now and then, and we've been getting new decks where Lawkeeper, so to speak, not as good, I still find Lawkeeper to still be a great card. And even if Lawkeeper can keep up with what's going on, we still have the stride mechanic going on, so Lawkeeper can still go pretty well with stride mechanic stuff. So all in all, Lawkeeper is not really as far behind as most people would like to claim. But for right now, the moment, I'm going to show you all the deck profile. It's pretty much most of the builds. The entire deck is pretty much most likely what you've all pretty much seen in the past. But there are some changes here and there, and for those who do not ultimately watch my Lawkeeper videos, I hope you enjoy, and you might like what you're about to see. Alright, here we go. Start off with your starting Vanguard, one Red Pulse Draco Kid. Now, there are some pretty good options for starting Vanguards for all Kageros in general, but I think the best one right now is Red Pulse Draco Kid. Until some better cards, I think Red Pulse Draco Kid is like a better card to go for. Countless one, put them in your Vanguard. Look at the top 5 cards of the deck. If you get great among them, add to your hand. So, yeah, still a great card. And with a deck like Lawkeeper, it is very appreciative that you can get your Lawkeeper from deck to hand very fast. And I am thinking about putting Conroe back in deck. Conroe, for those who do not know, I may have misled some people by mistake. I did say that Conroe is banned, but what I should have said in those previous videos that I said that was Conroe is not banned. You're just not allowed to use them unless you're starting Vanguard. You still main deck and just can't use them unless you're starting Vanguard. So eventually down the road, I may still find a way to put Conroe in the deck because the ability to get a perfect guard from deck to hand is always pretty appreciative. Good. And for the trigger lineup, we have, of course, the heal triggers. No explanation needed to explain why the heal triggers are so important. And most people like to do the 8 critical and 4 draw lineup, or 7 critical and 5 draw. I think most of you all are pretty much used to seeing what I'm about to do. But for those who don't know, my favorite trigger lineup is normally the 6-6 trigger lineup, the 6 critical and the 6 draw lineup over here. This gives me an opportunity to be equal on defensive and draw into what I need to draw into most, while still giving me the opportunity to be aggressive and inflict in as much damage as I possibly can. So 6-6 is still pretty good. Once the stride mechanic comes to me, the stride mechanic will allow me to do an additional drive check. So I'm not really sure if I'll cut down a draw trigger or not. I'm actually pondering on doing that or not, because the stride mechanic literally allows you to get a free additional draw, quote speaking, but at the same time, you're not always going to be getting your extra stride off, because you're not always going to get your stride going. So it's really big. So I'll have to do some test playing and see what happens. I'm not really too sure if I'll end up doing that or not, but only time will tell. Who knows? If it does happen, I'll only go down to a 5 draw, 7 critical lineup. So yeah. Next up, we have the 4 perfect guards. No explanation why these are good. Now Kagero just got their own perfect guard damage flipper, I believe it was called. It's a really great starting perfect guard, pretty much a lot better than most of the other perfect guards, I believe. For those of you who don't know what he does, the card that I'm talking about is called Protect Orb Dragon. I know other clans have it, but for those who do not know, this guy has the ability of a regular perfect guard, but with the additional ability of, if you have additional copy of that same exact card after you nullify the attack, you can turn a card face down damage, turn face up. So this gives you the option of turn cards face down damage or turn face up. Now, I'm not saying regular perfect guards are going to be obsolete, because there is still the lead gun mechanic, and you're not always going to be able to get your perfect guards in your grave and drop zone all the time. But a thought of potentially turn your face down damage face up for free right after your perfect guard attack, it's always a nice thought to have. And yeah, I'm not sure if I'll do it in these decks, but I'll definitely possibly do it in future decks. So yeah, for Vanguard Barriers, nothing too special. Next up, we have 4 bars. Now, in a deck like Lawkeeper, we really do need as much good boosters for our grade 2s or grade 3 rear guards as much as we possibly can, especially with Dual X Archdragon. If Dual X Archdragon is our rear guard attacking, so an Archdragon swinging in for 20 to 21 power is always pretty appreciative. And yeah, bar is just not. It's still, in my opinion, a really good card to have. A lot of people will disagree with me, and I can understand why, because bar is not really as neat as it used to be. But to me, I like bar. Next up, for Gojo's, pitch a card, draw a card by just resting him. Nothing really too special. Gojo has been like a really great card. I know Wyvern Tower is now a thing now. Soul Blast 2 to draw a card when you first call him. That's always pretty appreciative. When I pick up extra Wyvern Towers, I might actually cut out 2 Gojos, put in at least 2 copies of Wyvern Tower. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to ponder on that for a while. So yeah, for right now, for Gojos, it's still doing pretty good. And last but not least, Lawkeeper's crime fighting partner, and that is 2 copies of Lizard Soldier Repiar. His ability is when he's boosting your Kagero Vanguard while your opponent has 2 or less rear guards, your boosted unit gets the additional 4,000 power. So your Lawkeeper has the ability of binding all your opponent's rear guards. He's already swinging with 1,300, and you have this guy boosting with him. Not only becomes he goes up from a 13 swinger to a 23 swinger. So yeah, Lawkeeper will be dealing some huge massive damage, and that's not even considering some other really good combos this deck can also do, which I'll get to once we get the grade 3 lineup. So 2 Rapiars is definitely pretty good. And then that's it for grade 1s. For the grade 2s, we're playing max copies of 2 each of the 10k grade 2 vanillas. With a deck like this, it's very important to be aggressive and beat down your opponent as fast as you possibly can. So you don't really need your effects really too much. A Lawkeeper normally takes care of the rear guards pretty fast and well. So you don't really need any special effects really too much. And a grade 2 10k vanilla is always pretty good. And yeah, just the ability to just beat down your opponent's Vanguard and maybe some rear guards in case you don't go off your Lawkeeper can definitely help you benefit from certain things every now and then. So 4 copies of each of 2 grade 2 10k vanillas. And just in case if something comes up where you don't want to deal with that one rear guard constantly, I do tech in 3 copies of Berserk Dragon. Now, Berserk Dragon is a pretty interesting card. Now, I like playing Berserk Dragon in a deck like this because, while granted your Lawkeeper does allow you to bind your opponent's rear guards, keep in mind there is that one rear guard that your opponent will not allow you to get rid of. And keep in mind the rear guards that are binding only lasts until the end of your turn. So when that annoying rear guard comes back, you're going to have to deal with it. And thanks to Berserk Dragon, you can pretty much take care of that rear guard. So this guy is like your out to your Lawkeeper. Oh, not your Lawkeeper. This guy is your out to that annoying rear guard that your opponent will constantly save, even with your Lawkeeper's binding ability. So 3 Berserk Dragons. Still a great card. And that's it for the grade 2 lineup. Now for the grade 3 lineup. For the grade 3s, instead of 4 copies, I'm only playing 2 copies of Dual X Archdragon right now at the moment. Even if he's your idea of Vanguard is Lawkeeper, but in case you don't get to your Lawkeeper, it's not the end of the world if you ride into him. But he is still in a decent Vanguard, but you mostly want him to be your backup rear guard in case to back up along with your Nahals and cross-shot guys. So yeah, this guy becomes a 13 beer rear guard once your Vanguard goes all about your rear guards. And yeah, this guy becomes very massively strong. So one of your ideal fields you want to have is Lawkeeper as your Vanguard, this guy as your rear guard, Bar boosting him, and Rapier boosting your Lawkeeper. So you can deal some huge massive damage, along with having a Nahalim or some such related, and a good other decent booster as well, so you can be able to nail in some huge aggressive attacks every now and then. And about that combo I was talking about. Now, if you watch my Lawkeeper videos from the past, I think you Dragoons will probably see this coming from a mile away. But for those who do not know, there's something I've been trying out every now and then with this deck. And right now, at the moment, it is actually working out. And the two great threes I'm also working out with Lawkeeper is 2 copies of Dauntless Drive Dragon. Dauntless Drive Dragon is a really great, interesting card. For those who do not know what he does, he has Limit Break 4. I know a lot of people already know what he does, but again, for those who do not know, he has Limit Break 4 for Break Ride for sure. When a Kagero rides on top of this unit, that unit gets plus 10,000 power, and the ability of that unit can have additional attack, as long as after the first attack, you can pitch 3 Kageros to stand this unit right back up. So, what your ideal goal is to do with Lawkeeper, what your ideal goal of Dauntless Drive Dragon is, you're gonna obviously, like, if you don't pull off your Dauntless Drive Dragon, your deck can still run just fine, but if you get your Dauntless off with your Lawkeeper, you just do some huge, massive things right out of nowhere. Now, anyways, back before I keep interrupting myself, what your ideal goal with Dauntless Drive Dragon with Lawkeeper is, right out the back, allow him to become a 23 beater that can attack twice. Now, I would use Dragonic Overlord, the Break Ride guy. However, keep in mind of this. While Dragonic Overlord has a cheaper cost in order to allow your Lawkeeper stand back up, keep in mind when you use your Lawkeeper's Limit Break ability to bind your opponent's rear guards, you will not have any rear guards to attack into with your Lawkeeper. So with that, and Dragonic Overlord's Break Ride's ability only allows your guy to stand back up when he battles a rear guard. And with no rear guards to battle with your Lawkeeper, it kind of makes Dragonic Overlord and Break Ride a little bit obsolete right now. I would if there was at least one rear guard spare, whatever such, but there's no rear guards being spared when you use your Lawkeeper, so gotta go with the next best thing. Gotta go with Dauntless Drive Dragon, which does actually work pretty well. So what you're gonna be doing with your Lawkeeper is, you're going to Break Ride on top of Dauntless, then use your Lawkeeper skill, count that's 1, bind all your opponent's rear guards, and then attack for 23. Oh, you perfect guard? No big deal. I'm going to pitch 3 Kageros, stand right back up, and he's going to attack right into your opponent's Vanguard one more time again. And regardless if he lands any of his last 2 attacks, keep in mind, your opponent is going to be using some really huge amount of resources just to block him off, because his first attack will be ignoring you if you boost him. You're going to swing with 23 opponent. Oh, perfect guard? Okay. Stand back up by pitching 3 Kageros. Then attack again. Then while also boosting him with... Where is he? I just had him. There he is. While also boosting him with Rapier. And thanks to Rapier's skill, your Lawkeeper this time will be swinging with 33 power. And that's not even considering what you get in any of your both twin drive checks. Yeah, if that's not impressive, I don't know what is, other than some of the newer stuff in particular. So yeah, Lawkeeper, Dauntless Drive Dragon, a really great, interesting card, and I'm not really sure about bumping him up to 3 or 4 per deck, but could be worth a consider try out to give Lawkeeper the push he needs to stand his own against decks like most of today. So yeah. And of course, the idea key card of this deck, it would not be a Kagero Lawkeeper deck without, of course, one of my personal favorite cards, max copies of Dragonic Lawkeeper. Lawkeeper, you're my best buddy, man. Thank you for everything you've done, man. You've helped me through a lot of journeys over the years, and I'm still gonna keep you. You're not my favorite card, but you've helped me get on my feet when I first got into Vanguard. So, thank you, Lawkeeper. Thank you for everything. Anyways, for those who don't know what Lawkeeper does, he has Limit Break 4, count that's 1 card until the end of your turn. Bind all your opponent's rear guards. During the end phase of your opponent's turn, your opponent gets back all your rear guards back. However, if the total rear guards are binded by this guy's ability, your opponent must retire at least one of those rear guards. So, and also he has the ability of, while he's swinging, while your opponent has 2 or less rear guards, while you have 2 or more rear guards, he gets an additional 3,000 power. So without any boosting or anything, he becomes a 1300 after you use his Limit Break ability right at your opponent's Vanguard. So now, before I go any further, I want to mention a few things. Keep in mind that the ruling of Lawkeeper is he binds rear guards. So if you're up against like some sort of Legion-based deck or Legion-based deck, and your opponent's in Legion, you can still use Lawkeeper's ability to bind the rear guards. However, you cannot bind the mate because the mate is technically also the Vanguard. It's just also considered a mate due to the fact that it is not a rear guard. So you can still technically that mate or whatever such or whatever like you would do as if it was a Vanguard. However, since the mate is technically also the Vanguard the mate cannot be binded by your Lawkeeper's ability. Just want to point it out because I have been talking with some people and they have claimed you can do that, but no, that is not true. Lawkeeper specifically says rear guards, not mate or Vanguard. Rear guards. It's always been like that ever since he was first a thing. Even before the word Legion was even a thing. So anyways, still a great card, and just ability to just bind all your opponent's rear guards just adds so much pressure and just adds a lot of power pressures down your opponent. And when you get this guy rolling with the right strategies and the right combos, man, does he get in there very well. Like, especially when you combo, and that's not even considering when you combo with Dauntless Drive Dragon or your Rapier or anything good in particular. And once you get your strategies rolling with Dauntless, Rapier, while having some good rear guards back your Lawkeeper up, your Lawkeeper is just going to do some huge, massive damage all day long. So, and again, even if the Lawkeeper is not that great in Vanguard right now, keep in mind there's still this whole stride mechanic. So Lawkeeper could eventually be a good stride card, whatever such. So yeah. Now I don't have any stride cards to show you for my extra deck, whatever such, because I don't have an extra deck yet. But I do have a plan what I'm going to be doing extra for my ideal extra deck. So yeah. So that right there, Dragoons, was my current Kagero Lawkeeper deck profile for the way how it is right now at the moment. Thank you all for checking the video out. Let me know what Dragoons think about this deck profile in the comment section down below. And I'll see Dragoons around. Hope you Dragoons enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and a favorite if you did. It really helps me out a lot. Share this video with other people. Subscribe today to become part of the Dragon Legion Alliance. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. And I'll see Dragoons another day. Christian Dragoon, signing out. Peace.